Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Alexis Faye Yoga. I'm so very glad that you've decided to join me today. Now, today's practice will be a restorative class. We will need some props, including a few pillows and a blanket. And this will be a great practice for before bed or as an active recovery class when you're feeling a little sore. Now, if that sounds good to you, go ahead and roll out your mat. Go find yourself some nice cozy props and we'll flow right into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Stay firm. Sending that right foot back. Now we will begin our class with a Qigong pose, ring the bell, which if you've done my classes before is a lot like a happy elephant, just with slower, gentler movements. We'll start to bring our feet in underneath of our knees. We'll drop our arms down to our sides and wiggle them out a little bit. Now we're just going to slightly turn side to side, letting the arms wrap around as if we're a bell dinging on the sides. Now you can always do a happy elephant instead if you'd like a little more of a movement. We're getting some of the same benefits here, warming up the body, warming up the shoulders, the spine, the hip, the knees. And we'll let the arms run out of momentum, coming to rest by our sides. With a big breath in, we'll reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinging from the waist. We'll move to our forward fold. Nodding the head yes. And shaking the head no. Letting the arms be heavy down towards the floor. With an inhale, we'll move to our halfway lift again, flattening out the back, reaching forward with the top of the head. And with our exhale, we'll fold. And drop the arms down, soften the top of the head towards the floor. We'll add a little more bend to the knees, press into the toes. And we'll start to ragdoll or slowly roll up our spine. Find some shoulder rolls or some shrugs at the top. Now wiggling out, and we'll need a blanket for our next pose. So we're going to find a forward fold, but we will grab for that blanket and we'll roll it up nice and tight. And we'll place that blanket at our hip flexors. We'll add more of a space between the feet so they're out wider than our hips. And we'll fold forward, hugging our knees into the blanket, the rib cage or the abdomen into the blanket. Drop the top of the head and the arms down. And we'll stay here for a few moments, focusing on the breath. And we can find peace in stillness here. Or we can find some movement. Grabbing for opposite elbows, finding a sway side to side. We can find some cat-cow movements here with the spine. Or any other variations that feel right to you. But again, we have the option to just let the upper body hang. With our next in-breath, we'll move to a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And we'll slowly start to make our way back up towards standing. We can ragdoll like we did before. Or we can lift back up. Wiggle out at the top. Take a moment here in our Tadasana. Closing the eyes. Pressing into the toes. Now we'll make our way to our next pose, which will be a child's pose. And there are many different ways to set up for each of these poses, depending on what props you have and depending on how you are most comfortable in your pose. So I'll show you how I am going to set up for it, but then play around with how it feels right to you and your body. Because we will be in these poses for a few moments, for a few minutes. I like to bring a pillow underneath of me, so I'm kind of sitting up on it, and then I'll hinge forward and soften my chest to the pillow. Now it may be more comfortable to you to grab a blanket and take it a longer direction, roll it up, and place that behind your knees to lift them up off the ground a little bit to give you a little more space in the backs of your knees. Or maybe you just want a blanket under your forehead or under your chest. So take some time to get comfortable in your child's pose. Now we can have the hands out in front of the body. We can have them alongside the body. We'll stay here for a few minutes and focus on the breath some more. And we'll start to lift our way back up. walking the hands in towards the body to help us sit on our heels. And we'll take a few moments here. Now we'll move to our pigeon pose. We'll do both sides, but we'll start with our left leg forward. Now keep in mind, if a pigeon is uncomfortable in your body, we can lay on the back instead, grabbing for our blanket or a towel. We'll extend our right leg long. Bring our left leg in, hug the side of the leg into the chest. And we can wrap that blanket around and tuck it underneath of us, or just use it to hold the leg in towards the body here. Now for our setup, if we would like to do our more neutral pigeon pose, there's a couple of options. We can bring a pillow out in front where we'll rest our head on. We can bring our blanket underneath or a pillow underneath of the hip of our left leg, or any other variation that's comfortable to you. Try getting in the pose first and notice where you're hovering over the ground or what muscles are working hard. And then try and pack some pillows and blankets around those areas to make the pose a little more restful, a little gentler. Now again, we'll soften into this pose, moving to our sleeping pigeon, hinging forward. And we'll take a few minutes here. Start to lift the upper body back up. Plant the hands down. And we'll send the left leg back, moving to a tabletop and wiggling out however you need. Maybe barrel rolling the chest or finding some cat-cows. Then we'll do our pigeon pose on the other side. Bring our right knee forward. And again, setting up for a pigeon over here. Finding our comfortable spot. Tucking our pillows and blankets around to make it a little more comfortable. And then we'll soften forward to our sleeping pigeon. Maybe if you turned your head in one direction for the other side, turn your neck in the other direction for this side. Then we'll start to make our way back up. Now removing our props. And we'll drop our right hip down and bring our left in. Now moving to a butterfly next. If you're comfortable just moving straight into that, go ahead and take some time here without the props while sitting up tall. Or if you'd like a little more movement to soften the hips after that stretch, we can take the heels towards the outer edges of the mat and windshield wiper the knees side to side. Now walking the bottoms of the feet into touch, we'll need 2 pillows and we'll set our knees on top of each pillow. Now if your knees are still higher than your pillow, just grab more pillows or more blankets. Now this next one, you might want to cover yourself in a blanket or sit a blanket across your hips or across your knees to add a little extra pressure or downward movement. But then we'll sit the upper body back. Walk the shoulder blades in and down. We can close the eyes. We can cover the eyes with an eye pillow or with a blanket if we'd like. We'll take some more moments here. I'll start to bring the knees up towards the ceiling, bringing the legs in together. Do some more windshield wipering side to side. And we'll move to a gentle twist from here, pressing the feet into the floor to lift up the hips. We'll scoot them a few inches over to our right before we set them down. Extend the left leg out long in front of the body. We'll bring the right knee up to the chest for a nice big squeeze. Then move that right leg over to our pillow on our left side. And we'll stay here. Now we can keep hands at heart center or on our abdomen, or we can open up our arm, our right arm, to our right side and place it on top of our blanket, or let it sit here on the floor. We'll start to untwist the spine, bringing the bottom of our right foot down, slide the left foot in. We'll press the feet into the floor, lift the hips back to a neutral. We can wiggle them out, and then we'll scooch the hips a few inches over to our left side. As we lengthen the right leg out in front, bring the left knee up for a hug. And then we'll move it over to the pillow on our right side. Again, we have an option to keep hands at heart center, or we can open our left arm out to our side, either keeping the arm down to the floor or placing it on top of a pillow. And we'll start to untwist again. Bring the bottom of the left foot down to the floor, slide the right foot in, and move the hips back in line with the heels, with the shoulders. And we've done a lot of forward curling motions. So now we're going to move to a chest opener. And we'll need a few pillows for this. Now we're going to be laying back on our pillows. And we will want the pillows kind of at a diagonal or at an elevated area at the top where our head will be and lower towards the bottom where our hips are, just so that it's a little more comfortable on the neck. Now from here, there's several different ways we can set up the legs. We can have them long out in front. We can move to an easy seat, have them tucked in together, or we can go back to that butterfly. but we'll bring the bottom of our pillow right up next to our hips, to our sit bones, and we'll roll over onto the pillow. Now, if we have extra pillows, we can put them underneath the arms, under the forearms, to help the arms not be so heavy. Or we can keep hands at heart center, maybe intertwining the fingers so that they are going to stay where we left them. Now we can add a slight lift to the chin, moving the eyes up a little more so we have a curve to the neck. And maybe we can start here, and over time we can drop the neck to a more comfortable place. We'll spend a few more moments here, really bringing our attention to our breath, filling the chest, filling the abdomen with air, and allowing our in-breaths to put more space between our collarbones, to help us open the chest further. And with our exhales, allowing the chest, the abdomen to fall before we start a new breath in. Start to walk the bottoms of the feet in towards the hips. And roll to one side or the other as we move off of our props. We'll take a moment of gratitude here to thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for taking this time out of your busy day to refresh how you are feeling, to reset your body and your mind, and to take this time to really be self-compassionate, to take care of yourself. Now we'll take one large last breath in together and let it go as a sigh. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love, go in light, go in peace, and go in joy. Now, if you have made it this far, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. Your support means the world to me. And if you would like to support me further, there is a link down below to my Patreon. And contributions to that really, really help me out in making more videos like this. Thank you.